All right, we're live this evening. First thing I have loaded, if you're watching YouTube and you joined with us, is this Bitcoin chart. Today, what I'm going to do is spend some time covering on why I think Bitcoin could go back down to 40,000 American dollars, at least towards that direction. Last time I had a similar prediction that Bitcoin was going to go down to 40,000. It went down only to 49,000. So about $9,000 price difference. It went from 70,000 down to 49,000, which is still a significant price drop. This time, things are getting more serious because there's a lot more leverage. And we're getting near the top. We're getting near the top. And even from my last red block on Bitcoin, it was pretty choppy, but from that red block until the local bottom here, from 119,787 down to 117,453 American dollars, we fell by 1.95%. So the amount of money that it takes to hold Bitcoin up here every single day after day is increasing. You can't just sustain these price levels on nothing because there are people that want to sell, that want to take profits. I'll share my screen on Discord for you guys who want to watch on Discord as well. If you guys want to follow on Discord, don't want to watch on YouTube, the chart is under live. If you click Tametheark live on Discord. But there's something big happened today on my chart right here. I'm going to zoom this in for you guys. I will put a circle so you guys can see what happened right here. So if you look at this circle right here, let's make it a little bit fatter, shall we? Make it a little bit more orange. So if you look inside my orange circle, the one thing that you're going to notice is that Bitcoin's been coming down from there, right? But when Bitcoin did that, Dogecoin had something similar. XRP had something similar. Ethereum had something similar. Ethereum actually performed better than Bitcoin and some of the other coins that you see on the screen up here, though, in the past 24 hours. But if you look at the last 3 red blocks, price did go up a little bit from those red blocks. But ultimately now, hours later, price is lower, and we're getting that bearish momentum. Markets are about to close. And when the American markets are about to close, I think this week we have so much money in options that are going to expire this Friday. This week, they're going to have a sell-off. Monday, right now, markets are closed, sell-off. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, 5-day sell-off. This is going to be bizarre if it happens because the amount of money on options at the end of this month makes sense. And what happens on the 1st of next month? Well, people have to pay their rent. People have to pay their mortgage. They have to pay their bills. So squeezing people out of their positions, forcing the people to lose money on options, dropping the prices down, liquidating people over leveraged on MicroStrategy stock, people over leveraged on Bitcoin top. It's very easy. It doesn't cost them a lot of money. They just have to sell some of their supply, buy it back later on because they know that it takes too much money to keep it here, that if they sell it, the probability of buying it back at the same price or cheaper is astronomically high. They have more than a 50% chance of buying their Bitcoin back at $117,000 or cheaper. But you look at these red blocks like Ethereum. Ethereum did go up over 1% from the last red block. And then it went down drastically. But we have these liquidations that go down to 36, 33 for Ethereum. It was performing better than Bitcoin, then it started following Bitcoin. So, if a coin starts performing better than Bitcoin, but then gets back in line and follows Bitcoin, there may be a lot more bearish sentiment to the whole market. And that's something that we're going to explore. I had a poll the other day, and majority of you guys thought that $150,000 will come first over 40,000 because it's not that far away, $30,000. But every time you try to add $1 billion to the market cap of a crypto, you're going to have some resistance. If you try to increase a crypto's market cap by $3 trillion, where does the money come from? You'll need money. So the big bearish signal for the short term, this is for the scalpers out there, is this area in my orange circle. So you look at my chart here, my red block's perfectly lined up with this orange circle with a head and shoulders pattern in a way. We'll probably have to adjust it to the 15 minutes up to the hourly to start seeing those type of patterns. But right here, when the short-term moving average crossed under the long-term moving average, we hit that bearish momentum. And just within hours, we already fell another 1%. We have liquidations that go down. We have liquidations that go up both ways. It's not out of the possibility that we get a God candle up and back down in the same 5-minute candle as well. Bitcoin could go to 124,000 and drop to 112,000 in the same exact candle for the 5 minutes. So don't over leverage if you think we're going to go down. Don't over leverage if we think we're going to go up. I think we're going to go down. I'm already in shorts. I've already been shorting and dollar cost averaging to my shorts. Obviously, I would not feel comfortable to go long up here. I like Bitcoin. I like people like Michael Saylor. I don't like Bitcoin enough to buy it at the tops up here. I feel privileged. In 2021, we were watching Bitcoin and prices around 16 to 17,000 American dollars. So we were there. Since we were there, we don't have to buy Bitcoin here. We're in a different boat than the people that are joining crypto today. But if you look at my liquidations that go down, a 3.65% drop here would bring us under 113,000 American dollars. If I go over here, let's hide the drawings for a second and put it on the 4-hour chart. So we can look at all the indicators together. So in a 4-hour chart, we got liquidations right here that go down to 111,000. At the top, same thing as 5 minutes, around 124,000 American dollars. I won't be drawing all these charts today on the stream. The people that are here watching and listening, feel free to take screenshots, add notes to the charts that you take screenshots of. We're going to see if Bitcoin's right here, then price is still about 3% above the longer term moving average on the 4-hour time frame. What does that mean? I'll translate it for you. It means that the people selling here are 3% early compared to the people that have to wait for that confirmation. They're going to be 3% early than the people that wait for this confirmation. That's about $3,000 American price difference. You can buy a very good dinner for $3,000 American dollars. I can name thousands of restaurants that you could walk into right now with $3,000 and you can have a very good dinner. So maybe some of those people will think about that extra $3,000 per Bitcoin. And they have been thinking about it. And this will make the top of the range over here, and then we bleed down. And once those people that sell 3% early, then we'll have liquidations come down, and then price will be down already 6%. 3%, 6%, those are very big values compared to inflation. Let's look at Bitcoin RSI levels on the 4-hour. The RSI levels on the 4-hour went from overbought up here, 84K, mostly towards oversold down here, not all the way oversold. So I can use the AI to help me with this one. I don't need a calculator anymore. I don't have to do this myself. I'll give you guys a trick. So you take the highest price on the highest RSI, you document that. And go again over here, go once more over here and over here for the last 4 or 5 times. You plug that into the AI and ask it to calculate the average. And if you want to be a little bit more accurate, you're going to calculate the average based off of the volume as well. I don't really care about the volume as much right here. I already know Bitcoin trading very low volume. This candle, for example, is 3,000 Bitcoin. This candle right here, 2,600 Bitcoin. This candle, 1,900. This candle right here, 1,800. The volume candles are very thin. So the volume's low. I'm going to fall back on liquidity. And if I want to use liquidity, I'll go to this website, coinglass.com. Coinglass.com, very good data that you can use for free. When we go to liquidation charts, right here, wow, it's eye-opening, right? Let me put my camera very small. You guys, I'm not the main focus here. The charts and the data are going to be the predominant focus. In the last hour, we had a meme coin called Fart Coin liquidate over $7 million for people that were long on that meme coin. There's only a few altcoins that are hitting all-time high or near all-time high. So I know some of you guys are going to ask me, Tame, are we in altcoin season? I don't think we're in altcoin season. I don't think the cycles repeat as before. But let me go down this liquidation. Let's look at 24-hour liquidation. The biggest liquidation was an altcoin for $134 million, and $88 million of that was for longs. $88 million of longs liquidated on Ethereum. That's huge. That's huge. That compared to $46 million shorting it. So let me show you a chart that I like to use that you guys may use as well. Remember, this is coinglass.com. So this chart is the total liquidation charts. See this orange line on the chart right here? That's the price of Bitcoin. I think right now we're due for a giant liquidation of longs, because usually after Bitcoin gets near these tops, and people over leverage near the tops, that's when we get the biggest green liquidation candles. If you look at this chart predominantly, most of the liquidations are people that went long. The liquidations for longs compared to shorts are staggering. There's not as much loss for people shorting as there is for longs. Like, look at these candles. The red candles predominantly short, other than like days like this. This was the biggest day for liquidations, and that's when Bitcoin price scaled above 115,000 American dollars, close to 116,000 American dollars. On that same day, we only had $96 million of longs liquidate versus $963 million of shorts. That was the biggest day ever of shorts liquidations. We haven't had anything like that in a while. But also, one of our biggest days of longs liquidations was back here in February 2025. And the Bitcoin price was still over $100,000. That was for over $1.2 billion worth of longs liquidated. What are we at so far today? $292 million of longs liquidated? If I had to guess, within the next week or two, we're going to see a daily candle on this chart with over $1 billion of longs liquidated. I'll add this chart to the Discord for you guys who want to document it, track it. I'm not going to edit out the face or anything, though. We'll probably see a day of over $1 billion worth of longs liquidated within the next 2 weeks. Here's the coin glass total liquidation chart. So this is a chart I will screenshot, put in Discord. A lot of the custom drawing charts that I've been doing and putting in Discord, I'm not going to do those today as much. But when there's reference data like this, yeah, I can throw it in there. And CoinGlass is free. Anybody can go there and use it. If you go to liquidation so far, for the last 24 hours, Bitcoin liquidated $48 million. Dogecoin liquidated $14 million. Traditionally, Dogecoin doesn't really liquidate a lot of money because Elon tweets about Doge sometimes, so there are people that will never short Doge. And Dogecoin doesn't really have as much trading volume as Bitcoin or Ethereum. We see for the liquidations, it was about $11 million worth of Dogecoin longs were liquidated versus $3 million shorts. But looking at this chart, this liquidation chart, seeing that Ethereum longs have gotten wrecked, completely obliterated. Like, this is big. Ethereum longs over $88 million liquidated in 24 hours. That's big. Which leads me to believe that we're probably setting up again for Bitcoin. This is the Bitcoin chart. To also come in and do some big liquidations. If you look at the area from when we picked up the bearish, really bearish momentum from that short-term moving average until now, price is down roughly, I don't know, this might be 0.5%. Let's measure it. We're down about 0.75%. So a little bit more than 0.5%. Bitcoin is one of the most volatile assets, but it also has increased over 6 million% from the beginning. If you told me that a coin increased 6 million% and potentially face a 75% drawdown, and I just see a bearish signal and the price is already down 0.75%, and this drop could increase by over 99 times in percentage value, I may consider selling some Bitcoin. I may consider getting out. And we saw earlier this week, a few funds close their Bitcoin positions. One fund in particular closed a position worth over 80,000 Bitcoin. So we are getting some signs that early movers have been coming in, moving their wallets into exchanges, moving their wallets into OTC exchanges. And then within 24 hours, 48 hours, we get some sell pressure. So there are some meme coins that have been doing very well during this time, though. I'll pull up one of those charts. Some of you guys may know it. Some of you guys may not know it. I know it all too well. It's called Unicorn Fart Dust. So this chart, back in June 22nd, the coin was around 1.5 cents for the Unicorn Fart Dust. Today, the price is trading 200% higher at 4.678%. It moved up 200%, and it only took 37 days. It only took 37 days to move up 200%. This is a meme coin that only has $3.6 million liquidity. But right now, that total market cap is around $46 million. It would be great to see liquidity at least 10% of market cap. That would be a very good sweet spot for someone like me. But I've been buying and holding and trading UFD. It's a meme coin that has potential. I remember my early days of trading it, taking profits at 21 cents, buying in around 3 cents for the first time, and the dollar cost averaging after it hit all-time high when it came down. But Unicorn Fart Dust has been successful in this run lately. And when you zoom out the charts, if you do something like this, it's going to look like you're super early. Because remember, this coin started at the end of December last year. So we're quite early as well for coins like this. And I was lucky enough to meet the founder of Unicorn Fart Dust in person to kind of judge how he acts in person, who he is. We went to the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas together, and Ron was there networking with individuals, taking photos, and just absorbing information, learning more stuff about crypto. The thing about this founder in this chart is that the founder of this project continuously streamed even after this. After we hit all-time high and came down, he didn't stop streaming. He started streaming every single day. He started doing interviews, meeting people, networking. So stuff like this is pretty cool. This is one of the meme coins that I will be adding to my bucket list for meme coins that I like. Now, if you go to CoinMarketCap, I'll show you some altcoins that I'll like during this time. One of them that you guys already know, I mentioned in the Discord. If you don't have at least 1 billion hets, if you didn't acquire 1 billion hets in a dip, you might be punishing yourself when it rips. People didn't realize that the founder of Hets is one of the, if not the largest holder of Ethereum. So, if you guys don't think that the Ethereum Foundation or the ETH guys are going to give him a seat at the table, you're clearly going to be wrong. And then this is what the chart looks like when you zoom out as well. Are you early to something like this called Hets? No, you're not early. We were early back in 2020, 2021, and then it hit all-time high in 2021, came back down. Richard Hart kept building in the background. The project kept building in the background. They hired some of the best lawyers. The only crypto project that went to court with the Securities and Exchange Commission and won in court. They didn't settle, they won. So that's why they're up. That's why the volume's up in the last 24 hours. Volume's up 86%. In the last 7 days, Hets is up over 5%. In the last day, it dropped 8% though. Because this monthly price went up over 46%. People found the bottom of Hets and then it started recovering. So it's pretty cool. It's a really good story. And they already had a Netflix documentary about Richard Hart called Highest the Stakes. We saw recently as well last year in December that Hets hit 0.006. Right now it's at 0.002. Remember, the first time I traded Hets, the price was still not even 5 cents. It was around 4.5 cents. That's when I first bought. And then all time after that went up towards 50 cents. And now we're trading here 0.002349. And they have another project, Pulse Chain. Liquidity is divided into that other project, and you were airdropped a copy of the Pulse Chain Hets if you were holding Hets as well. And the Pulse Chain Hets value is at 1 cent. So it's like you're about 1.2 cents right now for the people that just held Hets. And if you look at the chart as well for Pulse Chain, right here, the market cap for Pulse Chain is much lower. $573 million. Over the last month, Pulse Chain is up 69.84%. You probably feel really good if you're bought some of these dips on some of these coins and you're up at least 20-30%. This is what the all-time chart looks like. Pulse Chain is still down from the highs in 2023. It's still down from the peaks in 2024. The market cap's not $1 billion yet, but 573 million is still a very high market cap. So these are some of the alts that I'll be adding to my list. Pulse Chain and Hets. The meme coin that I'll be adding to my meme coin list would be Unicorn Fart Dust. There's a few other meme coins that I like Please and Gaiet. Met multiple people as well. Met the Gaiet people in person. Met some political people. Met some Please people. I've been meeting a lot of projects in person, seeing what they're all about. In my Discord, a guy in my Discord, a while back, we did buy a coin called Etshen that a developer rugged and sold off. And then there's a community takeover. they CTO'd this coin SGen. They relaunched it so that the developer can get the rewards. So if you develop coin on here, you're getting creator rewards. So they relaunched it since they're managing community and everything on Twitter. They're doing meetups, live meetups. But this is the SGen. I would classify this as an altcoin, probably not a meme coin since they doing meetings and stuff. But this is what their chart looks like on SGen. I can drop the link in the chat if you guys want to see it a little bit closer, but they have a meetup coming soon. Let me see that Twitter page real quick. And they have the Eventbrite as well. This is going to be down in Florida. They've done a few meetings already. So if you want to go to one of their meetings, I recommend going and meeting them and see what they're networking about. Let me grab that for you as well real quick. They have a website as well. Like, let me pull up their website, see how their website looks, to see how it's going so far. Because they're only at $54,000 market cap. $54,000. I can make that now easily in a week of moderate trading. Well, let's check out their news website real quick. They have the SGen news. They have some memes. They have this AI chat thing. Let me check with their AI chat thing. What's the price of Bitcoin on trading view right now? Oh, you guys can't see the bottom. Let me hit enter. I don't know about this AI thing. They may need to work on it a little bit more. It's pretty funny. This thing, I don't know if it's checking and thinking or if it's going to give me an answer. Taps keyboard into that. But yeah, let's check their memes that they have. Pretty. I like the artwork, like this stuff. I know a lot of the SGen guys hold unicorn fart dust. So if you see like some meme coins and they reference like another meme coin, you know those people probably like that other meme coin as well. Lots of interesting memes. Obviously, you know, AI probably helped with the creation of some of this. Probably some people make that as well. They've been doing a lot of robot stuff though for their image, for their logo. I don't know like one specific image for the SGen though, like a logo that stands out. We all know that the unicorn fart dust, the UFD logo, sticks out in our minds. SGen, I don't know, maybe those guys probably need like a specific one for a logo. And then they're working on this new stuff. Let me check this out. They have this news website. It's not too hard to read this as well. Monitor. So if they build out their news platform, if they go to more events, that's good. I know they've been attending events, so I think it'd be interesting to see if this coin actually hits the bonding curve. Right now, it's at 94%. If coins like that can go up while Bitcoin's dropping for the day, I think it's very interesting. Some of the other altcoins that could go up while Bitcoin's dropping, we've seen before, like Dogecoin. Whenever Elon did some Dogecoin tweets before. We've seen like some crypto stocks go up sometimes while Bitcoin is dropping too, which is a little bit weird. If I look over here, I have my other charts. If I look at Ethereum, for example, ETH over here, from the last red block down, we scaled through all of the 50 times longs. We started getting to 25 times long. ETH dropped over 3.73% from the red block to the local bottom over here. When you look at something like Ethereum, you have to think about the holders. We know that Richard Hart purchased over 160,000 Ethereum. That's a lot of Ethereum. So if they don't give him a seat at the table, if they don't want to cooperate or something, maybe that Ethereum gets a giant fat red candle. It wouldn't surprise me. It would not surprise me. But on the short term, like some bullish optimism, there are plenty of liquidations to go back above $4,000 on this 5-minute time frame. The liquidation is very packed right here. I don't think I've seen an Ethereum chart recently, probably in the last 70 days, where you had this many liquidations so close together. So, yeah, there is room on that downside, but that upside too. There's so many liquidation if Ethereum goes up. Some other big proponents of Ethereum was Eric Trump. Eric Trump wanted to buy Ethereum for their foundation, the World Liberty Finance. We have some of the fund managers that went on the news and told you that Ethereum would outperform Bitcoin, went home and sold their Bitcoin positions for their companies. And Bitcoin price dropped when Ethereum did okay. So Ethereum was outperforming Bitcoin when Ethereum crossed above 39.40. I already know, like, without looking at the charts, exactly who purchased a large amount of Ethereum. We already know that. This is public information. So if you have a guy like that going on the news and telling people that Ethereum's going to outperform Bitcoin, you're probably already guessing they're going to go home or they're going to go buy more Ethereum. And I have respect for the gentleman. I'm not going to say his name. I respect him because he did most of the Ethereum buys after that interview, not before. So it definitely can't be counted as insider trading or pumping and dumping. Like he literally told you that he thought Bitcoin was going to perform less than ETH. Went home, did his stuff, sold the Bitcoin and bought ETH. Bitcoin value that was sold over 80,000 Bitcoin. Anybody here? Raise your hand. You have 80,000 Bitcoin? No? Okay, so if nobody here has 80,000 Bitcoin, it probably could be classified as a lot. Is it possible for any of you guys to ever have 80,000 Bitcoin? Possibly, yeah. It's a possibility. So it's not like major big, but it's still big enough that it affected the market. Let's see over here. If anybody has a question about a crypto or a stock that they are curious about, let me know. I'm open to exploring and looking at some new charts as well. Or if anybody has like anything like questions in general. I'll go ahead and take questions or some side stuff because what I'm going to explain to you next is probably going to take about 1 hour. I think it'll take me about 1 hour to explain to you guys something.
What up, team?
Hey, what's up? I'm just chilling right now watching. Markets are closed. So, Joe, I haven't talked to you in a while. Is there anything new with you or your Dogecoin position since our last conversations?
All kinds of different stuff. I've got, I'm still holding like 65 different coins, and I don't know, like what Mark Z just asked. Where are your orders set for DCA on BTC Doge?
That's a good
I've just
question,
been
Mark
acquiring
Z.
all kinds of, I've been acquiring all kinds of stuff at all kinds of dips along the way here for the past 6 months, pretty much since November. So, here's it sounds. I've been buying the dips the whole way. I'm holding way too many coins.
Way too many coins. To answer Mark Z's question, he says, where are your orders to DCA on Bitcoin Doge? So, for my DCA, from my perspective, I'm shorting Mark Z. So, if there are some irrational buys, if someone comes in and starts pushing Bitcoin back above 120K, I'm happy shorting above 120K. I would be extremely happy if I was given the opportunity to short Bitcoin at 200,000. That would make my year. If you're asking about when I want to buy Dogecoin, I obviously want to wait to buy it until under 10 cents, probably closer to 8 cents. And the theory about accumulating Doge, that's been about the same over the past 2-3 years. I get to buy Dogecoin under 8 cents sometimes. Some other times I don't get to accumulate it, but I get to buy some other cool meme coins that perform very well. Jonathan Gomez, you think earnings will affect us this week? So there are some companies with earnings coming up that, yeah, they're going to be affected. Their stock price will be affected. Some stocks can still go up this week, even if like Bitcoin's dropping down. I met one of the largest holders of Dogecoin not too long ago in person. It's someone that I don't really like the individual. I don't like what happened with their platform and GameStop. I can kind of see their perspective, and I can understand how Elon helped that individual prevent their company from going bankrupt. But at the end of the day, there's still a lot of whales in Dogecoin that are okay selling on spikes. That's why when Elon tweets lately, we don't get as big of a pump as we want to. Elon got involved in politics, and he used the Dogecoin name Doge. And now you see stuff on the news about different states, different departments taking away funding from Doge. And now the whole Doge has a negative stigma related to it with people that might have been potential holders of Dogecoin. When it comes to business, when it comes to marketing, you don't want to alienate your customer base. And we see on the charts, a lot of people don't feel comfortable holding Doge. But lucky for them, Dogecoin isn't the only meme coin. There's a lot of other meme coins. Mark Z says, do you think Wheats will ever go KYC and force us off like METC? I don't think so. The way that the politics are now with crypto and KYC, I don't think platforms are going to have to force KYC. I think more platforms that are KYC free are probably going to spring up as well over the next few years. We'll probably get a lot more DeFi exchanges where people can go and connect their wallets. It's not going to be market makers. It's going to be liquidity pools. I think there's going to be less KYC in the future. And obviously, what happened with Coinbase was really bad. Coinbase demanded their customers perform this KYC, and at the same time, they paid people in India and Philippines extremely low wages compared to American wages. And those employees took our information, our social security numbers, our home addresses, the amounts that we deposit to our bank accounts, and they sold that to the highest bidders, which is bad. So I think platforms should probably shy away from KYC. KYC probably only has room for the institutional, the people doing it for taxes, the IRAs, stuff like that, where they want to be documented. I think platforms should allow you to KYC if you want to KYC, if you want to be known that it's you, but I don't believe that you should be giving your information to these companies who aren't securing your information. That's why I'm happy doing some of this DeFi trading on the Phantom app. I'm not giving out my information to these companies that are giving it out. Luckily for me, the information that Coinbase employees gave to the other individuals, that information is no longer the same. The phone number is no longer the same. The home address is no longer the same. The banking is no longer the same. And since then, what I had to do, which is very unfortunate, especially because I was using Coinbase for tax purposes and stuff too, is I had to work with Coinbase support to delete my old account and make a new Coinbase account and made sure that they did not have my information anymore, including passwords. I know Brian Armstrong never said that the hackers had access to your passwords, but some of the deep conversations I've had on the phone for over 2-3 hours with some of this support led me to believe that maybe they did have my passwords for my Coinbase account. I was very proactive about it, though. I don't keep money on Coinbase. I use Coinbase to take money off and put on different exchanges, so I didn't lose any money, but I did have to make a new Coinbase. I had to restart my taxes on there as well for my tax documents because they couldn't merge my old taxes with my new taxes based off my Social Security. But yeah, it was identity theft. It was a betrayal. YouTube chat says, how are you feeling about XGen? Well, XGen is one of those pump.fun coins, 94% bonded. It's been out for quite a while without getting bonded, actually. Just looking at this chart. If I look at the 24-hour chart for this thing and I zoom out, the chart looks good. The patterns look good. There was places where it's ripped, and people took profits after those rips, and it was like people came in and bought more. I need to look more into number of holders, stuff like that, but the chart looks good for, what, 67 days old? I mean, as long as the market cap's up here, 54,000, that's very low. When I found Unicorn Fart Dust, the price was already 3 cents, so I kind of missed that. I would like to find maybe at least 100 coins that are similar to this. Looking at this XGen chart, this is something I would take a screenshot of the chart. I would make sure to label it so that the AI knows that this is 67 days old. I would take a screenshot of this chart, feed it into the AI, and ask it to find me 100 coins that are very similar to this. Because I like the way this looks on the chart. Take, for example, this from the beginning to the top right here, that took 39 days. It went up 650%. That was 38,000 market cap. And then boom. Price dumped 45%. It didn't go down lower. I thought it maybe could have gone down lower. It didn't go down lower. The exchange community looks like they held it up. 20K was that bottom. And then from the local bottom 20K, their market cap's now up 166%. That took 22 days. So yeah, I think the community of XGen is doing pretty good. So I would like to sink at least maybe $5,000 to $10,000 per project into at least 100 projects like this. I think that'd be pretty epic. That would expand. Obviously, that's not trading. That's more like risky buying and hoping that it pays off. And then my trading is more for Dogecoin, Ethereum, Bitcoin, XRP, Solana, Litecoin, Cardano. When we look at the Bitcoin chart, there are other companies, crypto companies like Cardano, that want to sell their native coin and use some of their money from their native coin sell to buy Bitcoin for a treasury. And eventually they want to get yield from that as well. So trading is getting a little bit more interesting. Alberto says, hello, do you think Trump coin can go up again? So Trump coin, I have to find that chart, exactly that chart. But I remember in the Discord, some people got mad at me, especially people that voted for Trump. And I did vote for Trump as well. I was someone that voted for Trump. But I'll have to show you the Discord so you can understand from my perspective. Let's see, can I get the Discord on for you guys? I can. So from my perspective, I shorted Trump coin at $71. I shorted Trump coin at $71 to put in perspective. And the chart literally looked like this. When I turned the Trump chart 90 degrees, this is what I saw. The Pico top was his hairline. You see that? And then the nose was the last chance that you could have sold for a decent price. And it all went downhill from there. So I was using a little bit of abstract thinking when I shorted Trump. I took profits on Trump coin shorting it early on, but it's a very quick trade, very easy trade. I would I buy Trump coin? I don't think I would buy it because even when it came out, the market cap was already too high. If you come out with a coin and your market cap's already above $1 billion, the chance of that token doing 50 times or 100 times are very low. But if people like the coin, maybe they'll come through and buy it. Christine says, do you still think, I think it's Dunkin' Donut will squeeze 30% float. Christine, you're on voice chat, right? Or you were. Gonna see if you could ask that question different way. I made a joke about a stock as well. I don't know if I put it in my Discord.
I tried to type in there, but it's members only, I guess, in YouTube. I was asking, what do you think about Pump.fun?
It's not members only in YouTube. Anybody can
I
chat.
tried to type in it. Yeah, it didn't show up. It didn't show up on like YouTube.
Did you refresh your live? Mark Z says, is there a way when we can copy your charts on TradingView? I could probably make like a default chart that you can copy, Mark Z. That's a good idea. I'll have to throw it into the Discord channel. Obviously take off my proprietary indicators, but yeah.
Hey, Tame, are you there?
Hey, I'm here.
Hi, yeah, we're talking about Krispy Kreme. Well, back you
Krispy
said
Kreme. That's their ticker, DNUT. Krispy Kreme, yeah. I remember. So, I'm going to ask you a question about Krispy Kreme.
Oh yeah, before I don't know, a couple weeks ago, you thought there was a squeeze involved, or might be, and it's up 40% still from what it was. I made some profits on it, but I was wondering there's a 30% short float out there, and I was wondering what the potential of a squeeze still is.
Yeah, so let me pull that up real quick. I want to pull up the TradingView chart first for the people out there. So I don't think YouTube knows what you're talking about because I posted this only for the Discord members.
Thank you.
But I had a little bit of vision. I ate a donut and I came to this philosophy about donuts. And I was watching videos about police officers and I was talking to police officers. But this is the Krispy Kreme daily chart. Their stock ticker is DNUT. Krispy. And some of you guys, this is your first time finding out about this Krispy Kreme chart, probably. But if you go over here to your Discord, where Tametheark, I said the truth about Krispy Kreme. And then I put this tweet out. So if you weren't in the Discord, at the very least, at the very bare minimum, you could have found my tweet about it. It says, donors to Democrats who voted to defund the police were also in Krispy Kreme shorts at the same time. Krispy Kreme could possibly short squeeze as police are funded again. Follow me for more stock tips. Price is at $2.57. Some of you guys might see that this is comedy, right? You might look at this and say, hey, this guy doesn't know what he's talking about. This is not real TA. But that price was at $2.57. You come back over here and you put like a nice little circle. And if you want to go by the date as well, this is time stamped June 25th. So you go right here, June 25th. I think I may have called the exact moment, the exact bottom of Krispy Kreme. I mean, that's not a very good feat, but it's Krispy Kreme. It's donuts.
I'm up 41% on the trade, so thank you.
And it's Krispy Kreme. Anybody ever eat Krispy Kreme before? Anybody mad about the people in your cities voting to defund the police, and then when you try to call the police, there's no police to come, so you have to do everything yourself? And then you have to bury your shovel in the dirt too, and then have to go to Walmart to buy a new shovel? I still haven't bought a new shovel. But look at this, the stock up from the bottom. So from the day I called it until here, we're up about 58%, but it did go up over 119%. And this is the point that Christine is asking me. Can it go further? Can it go higher? Should I stay in the trade? Well, I think you're early. This pump really started over the last 4 or 5 days, Christine. I think you're early. I think when this thing squeezes, when people really find out the truth of what happened and who was shorting Krispy Kreme, before all these guys started voting to defund the police and have these big shorts, it's going to run. We'll probably at least double top up here to $17 per share, which is another 334%. So reminder again, that tweet. Also, you might want to follow me on Twitter. Sometimes I post this stuff at Tame Token. At Tame Token. And I sat down with some people as well. They didn't want to buy this stock. They're like, who the fuck buy donuts? Who eat donuts? It's so funny. But yeah, Krispy Kreme ran. Krispy Kreme.
So I heard that the 30% short float is pretty high. And it takes over 7 days for them to cover. So that's
well, that's what you see right there on the short float. But it could be higher by the end of it. So the short float is very hard for them to cover once the price really pumps.
Okay. Thank you.
So if you guys want to look at this, did anybody else buy Krispy Kreme? Oh, look, I'm in the SGen chat on Twitter. Let's go over here. SGen has a thing on Twitter, well, ets.com now that you can join. But look at this. It's crazy. I'll probably add this on here as well.
Now, the fact that there's over 9,000 calls for November, does that take a big factor into it? It's over $5 for the calls.
So I would not be so focused on the float right now. I would try to calculate in the options that happened prior, and if you can go back far enough, you can see the exact amount that was shorted based off the option.
Okay. Still learning.
I think they'll have to cover it. I think retail will push this up. I got it early before Wall Street Bets and those guys even knew about this. They probably are still scrambling after the pump. Mark Z says them donuts are real. Yeah, look, guys, this might be comical, but the donuts are real. Look at this. The donuts are real. Look, this is almost bulletproof right here. I get like a few more inches of solid fat. Add in a little bit of stainless steel. Add in some butter to the pan. Woo. Rob says, is there an Etchen event planned in August? Yeah, there's one at the end of this month in July. They're also doing an event in August. I'll probably be attending their event in August. I like to try to do some meetups that my Discord organizes or people organize. Try to meet as many people in Discord as possible. Put a face to the real people that are talking and listening. I met Christine in Vegas. Her brother, her friend. I met a few other Discord members in Vegas. They're not in voice chat right now, but it's a pretty cool event. Ron's Basement, met him in Vegas. Met the founder of Guyot, the YouTuber Frankie. So, lots of cool faces. Maybe eventually meet all the Discord members in person. So, anybody have any more questions or side questions to talk about before I explain a little bit deeper why we could go down to 40,000 American dollars per Bitcoin. And I like to say American dollars because because right now Bitcoin was hitting all-time high in American dollars. But some of the other currencies, that's not the case. It hasn't hit all-time high in some other currency in years. So I like to be very specific. I'm American. I spend American dollars. I like to price the charts in American dollars. Rob Kahn says, fire. Wish I was at the Bitcoin conference. Especially me, Ron, the guy at Founder seemed interesting too, lol. Yeah, so actually, how many people in my Discord got their Bitcoin conference ticket for free next year? You guys get your tickets and save some money? I think we gave you guys the link to get one free ticket for next year that was on a timer. So I hope a lot of you guys got your free ticket for the Bitcoin conference in Vegas next year for free. It's like $300 a ticket just starting out the door. All right, if I don't have any more questions, I'm going to move on to some technical levels that can help me evaluate if Bitcoin price could go down to 40,000, at least towards that direction. It may not hit exactly at 40,000. I'm okay with that. I don't need it to hit 40,000 for my trading style. So I'm going to take Bitcoin chart. We're going to expand it. I already explained this, but for you guys who don't understand the short term on this 5-minute chart, over the last 11 hours, we've been getting bearish movement after the short term moving average crossed under long term. And I'll show you the inverse of that as well. So the inverse would be something, probably have to go back like a, let's see, right here, the inverse. So this was when it's, I got to go back right here. This was the inverse. So the inverse of that was right here at 116K. So this is only the 5 minutes. Let's put our chart over here on the monthly time frame. I'm probably not going to go higher than 1 month for a chart. So this is what Bitcoin looks like on the monthly time frame. This chart only goes back to 2017. But from $4,400 per Bitcoin to $118,000, Bitcoin's up 2,597%. That's very good, right? That's 95 months. That's 95 months of Bitcoin going up that much. 2,597%. I could easily swing a trade and get over 1,000% in less than 1 month. If you go through the Show Off Your Profits channel, my Cardano alone was 1486%. So, people watching this, they're like, oh, 2,500% in 95 months. What's the probability that will continue doing that? What's the probability that it will go up another 25 times from here? That would put the price above $2 million if it tried to do 25 times from here, which would add trillions to the market cap, which would mean it would need more money in the system. We don't have it yet, unfortunately. Maybe like 200,000, but we don't have enough money in the system to 25 times the price of Bitcoin from here. So one of the indicators that I want to look for, if I think the run's over, if I don't think we're going to keep going up, the relative strength index right here on the monthly. Traditionally, every time Bitcoin hit this monthly RSI overbought this line right here, price would drop at least 20 to 30% before it became oversold. Back in 2021, when it hit that top, until the bottom, price dropped 76%. And that took 671 days. I was here during that time. I stuck around. There's a lot of people that abandoned crypto and Bitcoin after this. They don't even trade anymore. Back in 2017 until 2019, from that top until the bottom, when the RSI was just overbought and came down oversold, it went down 81%. That was 455 days. So it's not unheard of for Bitcoin to drop 75, 80% when RSI is overbought in the monthly until it's oversold. Where are we at right here on the chart? Overbought. So if we go from here, I think at least 75%. At least 75. 75% drop from here would bring us at $29,000. So the $40,000 call is very generous, because if we drop 75% from here, we'll be at $30,000. So seeing Bitcoin up here, overbought, potential to drop 75%. I don't know. You guys kept asking me about EtchGen, and now Elon's all over robots today. Look at this guy. Look at Elon working out the bugs on Grok video, and he's got a robot. I said you should name it EtchGen because it's an Etch engine. This is, I don't know, Elon's all over robots today. The day that I've been talking more about EtchGen, he's all over this robot stuff now. But yeah, this indicators for Bitcoin, yeah, I think we're near the top. Look at the MACD. Moving average convergence divergence up here. Our MACD line, on my chart, my MACD line's yellow, my signal line's white. Anytime this white line is significantly below the yellow line, you're probably in for a drop. You're in for a correction. When we got up here last time, for example, at the very peak, the white line under the yellow line was Bitcoin at 69K. We went down to 16,000, under 16,000. And that was a very big drop. And I think this area and this area look very similar when you calculate in this area. So this might not be the worst day for people to sell their Bitcoin. But this could, in fact, be the absolute worst day for people that come into crypto to buy Bitcoin. This could be the absolute worst day in the history of our charts that come in and buy Bitcoin. Let's do a poll. Would you buy Bitcoin for 118K? Yes. No. Is this the price that you've been looking for over the last 5-6 years to buy Bitcoin? If you were to come in Bitcoin today and you learn about Bitcoin today, would you pay 118,000 American dollars per Bitcoin? A lot of Americans are very frugal with money. I know people that could retire on $500,000. There's people that could put their money into safer things and just live off of that comfortably. So why would they feel the urge to come in and buy Bitcoin above 118,000 American dollars? And how can these fund managers come in and trick their clients into letting them buy Bitcoin above $118,000? So in the poll so far, only 27% said yes. This looks like the top. This is just one indicator. If you look at the other indicator, we go on the daily time frame. Look at the daily. The daily is becoming a little bit more flat, sliding along, and our price is A, above the short-term moving average, B, above the long-term moving average. It's above that long-term moving average at 99,500, the 200 EMA, by 18%. So what does that translate to? The people that sell their Bitcoin today would be 18.5% early compared to the people who wait for that confirmation for Bitcoin to come back down to that 200 EMA. I don't know about you, but being 18% early is damn nice. I would like it. Because at 112K, they were at about 24% early. And because they were 24% early, people started selling it down to the moving average. As a result, price dropped 9.7%. If we go down to the moving average today, that price would be about 4.89%. And we dropped all the way down to the 200 EMA, that would be a 15% drop. That would be a lot of liquidations. On this daily chart, my MACD color is red. So, the dark red on this MACD indicator says fall. We are picking up bearish momentum, and people don't realize it yet. But they are going to realize it. The daily RSI was already overbought at this peak here, 123,000. From that peak down to the moving average, that will be also 18% drop. So yeah, 18% early. People are going to be 18% early. The ones that sell today, the ones that short today, the one that buy puts on MicroStrategy today. Today is the day of all days in the markets where people have been getting the best opportunities. If you were holding Bitcoin for the last 4 or 5 years, and you're looking at the charts today, you hit an all-time high on July 14th. Today is July 28th. You might be getting a little bit worried that was the all-time top 14 days ago. The chart's going flat at the top. People might be getting bored, and then boom, you have a drop down. I would describe that as a diving board. You're at the top of the diving board, you jump in and boom, price drops and then bleeds down under. So, let's go in between the daily and the monthly and put on our weekly time frame. I had some very, very heated arguments with people back here, 2022 December, when I tried to explain that was the bottom for Bitcoin on the day that FTX was getting liquidated. Alameda was going broke. But from those green blocks indicators on my weekly, even to the first golden cross, that was 76% early. My indicator came in 76% early before a confirmation indicator. That confirmation indicator price is already overbought. Before the 69,000 to 70,000, 70,000 was an okay take profit. From my indicator to an okay take profit area, Bitcoin went up over 300%. Now, you don't see this big drop, but if you look right here, from that okay take profit area at 70K, when I had another heated argument with retail traders, price went down to 49,000. That was a 29% drop. Some retail traders could not sustain a 29% drop and were liquidated or forced to close their positions at losses, which is unfortunate. I mean, Bitcoin dropping 29%, I mean, you should always calculate that volatility into your trading strategy so you don't get liquidated. But from that 49K bottom, RSI oversold. That's where the RSI got oversold on the weekly. It went up to about 104K before it got into overbought territory again. From overbought to oversold, that price drop 109K down to 75K was a 31% drop. Is big. 31% drop. And where we're at now, price is overbought. If we go from this weekly chart overbought area, and we at least come back down to the moving average, 200 EMA, that's $57,365. That's not out of the equation. Like, that's very possible that we could go 57,365. A lot of you guys may even agree that's not a bad area to go to. This is the Bitcoin weekly chart. How many of you guys think that we could go down to 57K? So the Bitcoin weekly chart, a 51%, 51% drop to 200 EMA will be 57,365. I guess this is an okay chart to save and add to the Discord. It's not flooding the channel, not too many charts. So I'll add this into the Discord. You guys can take a look and consider how this chart is. Bitcoin weekly chart is overbought. Room to drop down to 200 MA. So I put that in the Discord. Like, maybe if you're in Discord, take a look at that as well. You can save the chart. This is what I did modify. I added this stuff right here on the chart for the Discord to see it better. But everything I just explained to you guys on this weekly chart, there's room to come down on this weekly chart for Bitcoin. And it's a little bit interesting how the RSI right under this. There's not been many cases in history where a chart looks like this and then it doesn't come back down to the moving average. If 57K is possible. So if Bitcoin goes to the 200 AMA on the weekly time frame, we'll be at 57K. Just a drop down from 57K to 40K, that could happen purely off of liquidations on the 5-minute charts time frames. Before we go on a little bit further, a few more things I would like to show you guys. Do we have any questions here? Maybe some of you guys are curious about my current trades. I could pull up some of my current trades for you guys as well in a second. Get those loaded up. Like earlier, I was already in some trades. It's on the Discord. Share your current trades. So in the Discord earlier, I'm in 4 shorts right now. I have this Bitcoin short, $118,113. I have a Dogecoin short at 23 cents, 479. I have an XRP short. Obviously, my XRP short is performing the best. I got a better entry on the XRP short at the very top of the technicals. So the strategy for the XRP short, I got in at $3.38 and some change. That's why my XRP short's going good. The short that I'm losing currently is Ethereum. Ethereum did perform better. After I got into my Ethereum short, that guy went home, sold his Bitcoin, 80,000 Bitcoin, and bought Ethereum. So I try to get ETH short on resistance. This is my second ETH short though, because I had one prior that I already took profits on, and that was right here. So I had an ETH short from 37.84, closed at 36.86, earned 1,035% on that trade. So I think overall I'm net positive on my trades, my scalps, the current scalps. I've won a lot of trades over the past 60 to 70 days as well. But I'm predicting Bitcoin could go down back towards 40K. And I am hedged against the idea that I'm wrong. If I'm wrong, then my meme coins that I bought, like Unicorn Fart Dust, please, guy it. Those would go up. My altcoins like Het, Pulse Chain would go up. The SGen meme, SGen from Pump would probably go up as well. So I'm hedged against the idea that I could be wrong. And I'm wrong when it comes to trading, but I know how to manage the trades when I'm wrong. I know how to kind of work around it. All right. Let's move into another indicator. Well, yeah, I'll call it an indicator. Holy fuck! Oh my god! Look what Elon changed his Twitter name to! S Engineering. They need to put the G right there, right? If they put the H Gen, that would be good. Alright, so we need the H Gen. So if we have the H Gen page, you'll see H Gen page. It's not really like this is just some random page that a guy made 2008. So they don't really own the H Gen page. Elon doesn't own that. So that's why they have to do the that's why they have to do it like this. SENG. Although I think X Engineering would have looked cooler for this. But yeah, Elon's been doing a lot more of this robot stuff. So maybe eventually he slips up today or this week and then he'll say X-Gen or something. And maybe that pumped up fund will just run. That would be beautiful. I've seen stuff like that before where like these pumped up fund coins have been around for months, not really getting a lot of traction. Elon does a tweet about one word. People go there and start buying it massively. That is crazy. Starship. Yeah, Elon, I know AI doesn't really give people the idea of robots when they're talking to AI on their screen, but eventually when you have AI and robots combined together, it's going to be pretty cool. All right, let's head back over here to the Bitcoin charts. Actually, I need to use CoinGlass for some data. What's up? Welcome to the Discord channel. So this is CoinGlass, Bitcoin futures open interest. One thing that you look for, I'll zoom in. You see where it says CME, 152,000 Bitcoin for open interest. Binance 130,000. So there's a lot of open interest for Bitcoin already. Look at the dollar value of this open interest. You ever seen the dollar value open interest this high before for Bitcoin? Where they keep borrowing this money from? This is what the chart looks like. This is staggering. So the way I read this chart, the orange line or yellow on your screen will be a Bitcoin price. And as the Bitcoin price historically reached significantly higher up here than the open interest values, we see major price crashes in Bitcoin. Eventually, people will have to pay back the money they owe. Eventually, they will have to pay back this money. And it will suck when they have to pay it back. Because then we'll get some major drops. There is no such thing as infinite money. There are going to be days where the money printer will be turned off. Currencies will die. They can't continuously hold Bitcoin here. It's very expensive to hold Bitcoin here. The amount of wealth it takes to hold Bitcoin at this price, to hold open interest here, to service all this debt, it is bizarre. that people can do it. You guys been around during the 2008 housing market crash. You already know the dot-com bubble. It's not a good recipe when you mix a lot of debt and with leverage. This right here, you look at this is scary. If you're a Bitcoin maxi, a long-term holder, this is your golden ticket to get out. This is your parachute. Because if you're borrowing money now to buy Bitcoin here, that's probably the opposite of a parachute. If you're borrowing money, if someone's willing to loan you money now to buy Bitcoin above 120,000, then you're both in trouble. Like down here, you traditionally want to borrow the money when the prices are lower, when the RSI is oversold. That's when you should try to borrow as much money. I know for a fact people are trying to borrow as much money as possible, or they're trying to issue more shares or more financial instruments for you at the top here so that they can gamble on this going further. But when that ends, you're going to see a major crash. I'm talking about price drop 50% or above type crash. Because there's no way there's this much money that will keep holding it and let people keep borrowing more to push it up here. Market cap's already too high. And this data is free, by the way. This is free for you on CoinGlass. If you want to think about shorting Bitcoin, if you're thinking about hedging against your long-term Bitcoin, you can use wheats for shorting, for futures. You don't have to do high leverage either. But if I go from this chart and go straight to this chart and see that we are overbought up here for Bitcoin, then as a trader, I also know that there's high leverage in the crypto markets. You guys might see my 300, 400 times longs and shorts and think that's high leverage. It is. But the truth is, even 5 times leverage is very high. If you go 5 times long on Bitcoin here, and we'll zoom in on the 5 minutes so I can explain this a little bit better. If you go long on Bitcoin here at 5 times leverage and price drops 20%, you're liquidated. You're going to be liquidated. If you see these people that are right here, these lines, the green lines are people that are 20 times long. If they're 20 times long and we have a 5% drop, they're liquidated. If we go down to 112,000, that's already a lot of money liquidated. So this could lead to overwhelming market liquidity run. I think this could create a bank run on some of the stables as well. If Bitcoin drops 50% overnight, or even over a course of a month, that's going to suck for some stables. And I keep referencing American dollars. There may be a situation where Bitcoin hits $1 million USDT tether. But that same situation may not translate to American dollars. If tether depegs and is no longer valued at $1 American dollar, then Bitcoin could go to $1 million tether, but it may not be $1 million US dollars. Hope you understand that. But yeah, this is the week of margin calls. I'm already looking at the charts here, predicting this is the week I'm going to be most active out of the year. This will be the week of margin calls. I will be very happy to spend 18 hours a day right now looking at the charts. But I don't have to anymore. If we go down, we crash down, I'm already positioned. I spend like a little bit every day looking at the charts and stuff. Been doing this for the past few years, so right now I'd probably put more of my attention on the charts. I'll send out announcements though. I'm not going to watch the charts for you guys, but I will tell you guys that this is a week to watch charts. This is the week to watch the charts. Like I would probably say that your summer vacations are over. You guys are back in front of the computers. This is the time you should be watching your charts. I won't be here every day, every second, but you should be watching your charts. If you're wanting to learn more about the short-term trends, watch your charts. If you want to learn more about liquidations, watch your charts. You're going to see some very interesting things happening this week. It's going to suck really bad for the people that are over leveraged and their rent's due in a few days. Their rent is due on the 1st. Their rent is due on the 1st, the same day that options expire. How fucked up is that going to be when their options value drops in price? And then they have to scramble. It's going to suck. They don't know it, but they're going to know it. Yeah, we're probably going to have bearish momentum before Friday comes along. This is going to suck. I got it on my calendar. I'm ready. I'm prepared. But if Dogecoin were to bleed down under 8 cents this week, yeah, I would scoop up some. Let's not be greedy here. I think sharing is good. So let's share the other charts, not give Bitcoin all of that room and exposure. I think like Bitcoin over the course of this week, ever since these red blocks and the bearish signal for Bitcoin, the altcoins are going to suffer as well. I think they're going to come down. So I think Dogecoin, Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP are going to come down. That's why I'm shorting all 4 of these. I shared my entry in the Discord. I share my dollar cost average. And when I take profit, I will also share my screenshots and time of the take profits. So let's go over here to another chart, shall we? I already showed you Krispy Kreme, but if you go to MSTR and you look at their stock, what's happening here? Why is MicroStrategy not at all-time high? Well, this is one of the guys I met in person, by the way, the Michael Saylor, CEO of MicroStrategy. These people, let's see here. So I think I can put the pictures up here as well. Just, it may help explain the story a little bit better. Oh, the image is too big. So this is Michael Saylor. He's the CEO of this company right here, MicroStrategy. I met him at the Bitcoin conference in Las Vegas in the Well Pass area for the VIP wells. And he's a very nice guy. Very nice. He chat with a lot of the people that attended the event. He gave a very good speech. He asked some very good questions as well to other people, especially politicians. But Michael Saylor, in my opinion, has a problem. And I don't think this is a personal problem. I think this is a problem in general problem. His problem will be that if Bitcoin comes back down to his average cost, then his stock will suffer. So we're already down 25% from all-time high. If Bitcoin comes down to 50K, and for every day that they're below average cost, their stock probably will drop even more percentage. So if Bitcoin drops 10%, their stock will drop 20%. That's the problem. They're leveraged. And then the big problem in the room is that they borrow money to buy Bitcoin even at the tops, and they openly admit to buying Bitcoin at the tops. So I think that's the other big problem. Other than that, though, I don't think that they are in a position to be liquidated. But the people that are buying options for these stocks and stuff could probably face significant losses. So there are companies that were like Bitcoin price isn't up because thousands of retails came in and started buying it. Bitcoin is mostly up because of about 5 to 6 companies that came in and tried to buy as much supply as they could with the money that they borrowed. That's all it is. Our impact as individual retail traders on the price of Bitcoin isn't really significant at all. I could pick one person at random in my Discord, tell them to sell their entire bag of Bitcoin. We would not notice anything on the charts. Mark Z says Tame on the weekly total is making a rising wedge pattern. Same as total 3. Do you think it's possible that it can complete its pattern? So some of the things I showed you earlier, it is possible to come up and hit those liquidations. But ultimately, I think the price is going to come down. I think that people are too over leveraged, and big firms are over leveraged. And when the big firms are over leveraged and their credit goes down, when people don't want to lend them more money, they can't keep buying more of the top. Some of those people near the top may panic when they realize that they can't borrow more money. They may panic and start selling, right? Maybe some of their lenders are going to force them to take profits at the top in agreement that they will let them borrow more money if we go down to the bottoms. So it's a sacrifice. When you look at this chart here, it's been about 11, 12 hours, and we haven't broke above this bearish signal for Bitcoin inside this orange circle. We're going into 12 hours, 30 minutes, and it hasn't came back above there to liquidate these high leverage shorts. It's possible we could get like one big candle. Remember, Sailors still could borrow some money, buy at the tops here, but the volume has been drying up. I think eventually, by the time people are done taking profits, big company is done taking profits, we'll be back heading towards the direction of 40,000 American dollars. That 200 EMA on the weekly is around $57,000, so plenty of room for the prices to drop. I don't feel pressure that I have to buy the top here. Investing for myself, investing for my family, my community, my friends. I don't feel pressure to buy Bitcoin right here. I think this is the least pressure I've ever felt to put money into Bitcoin. I can put money into one of the random 1,000 meme coins, and it'll probably outperform Bitcoin from here. I could probably put the money into a real world business and accumulate more yield in a year than Bitcoin right here. Dogecoin is in a different scenario than Bitcoin here, though. 22 cents versus all-time high 75 cents. Price is much lower than all-time high. And I understand volatility. We could get spikes, but at the same time, I'm not going to risk trading long during this volatile time. I don't want to try to catch a Bitcoin long hoping for the price to go up $1,000, $2,000 when I know at the end of the day, price probably will face a 55 to 60% drop down in value. It's increasingly risky to buy a Bitcoin top. I'd rather buy Dogecoin right here if I had to. If someone held me in person and say, "Hey, Tame, which one of these will you buy today?" I would probably buy Dogecoin instead of Bitcoin here. At least Dogecoin is probably more favorable than Bitcoin in this situation. If you guys had to buy one today, which one would you buy? On the poll so far for the $118,000, would you buy Bitcoin for $118,000? 80% said no. You guys know what's up. I'm not the only one. We all see it. We're all on the same page. The question is, are we all on the same page when it comes to the risk tolerance? I cannot risk going long on Bitcoin here and hoping for $1,000. I can't do it. Some of you guys may be able to risk it, but not me. Not even for a minute. I wouldn't even go long on Bitcoin for a minute right here. It breaks my strategy. It breaks my risk tolerance. You guys may be able to do it though. Yeah, Dogecoin is probably better than Bitcoin in an area like this. If I did draw a line, like some downtrend lines, we would probably be close to breaking some 5-minute downtrends. It might break that 5-minute downtrend, right? It might go break it, retest, and then drop down for lower lows for the end of the day. Yeah, so spreading your position is not a bad idea as well, Marve. You're in 8 positions over the year. Yeah, doubling your wallet in a year, I think that's okay with keeping up with inflation. I'm seeing even on the short term time frame, this volatility. I have to zoom in for you guys to see it, but we're getting some indecisive candles where Bitcoin wanted to go up, but it became indecisive. So we get that bearish momentum like this candle right here. And the volume, like this is staggering low volume. Currently, we're only at 1.25 Bitcoin for the candle. 1.25 Bitcoin, that's not a lot of money for the volume for 5 minutes so far. That's staggering. Our last 5-minute candle, 53 Bitcoin. Before that was only 41 Bitcoin. So we're in low volume territory. Markets are closed. And we're near the tops. So probably get some bearish momentum. Anybody have any questions or thoughts that they would like to add to the charts over here? we are breaking the short-term downtrend a little bit, but it's not significant enough. When you zoom out and look at the 4-hour, the daily, the weekly, the monthly, it's really bad. Some of these stuff that I told you today does support why I think we're going to 40,000. There are a few more signs as well. I think the Fed will probably tighten money. Our American debt's too high. They'll probably be forced to cut back on the money printing. Companies are fighting to borrow as much money as they can before the Fed does kind of cut the funding. So I think we'll get a lot of bearish momentum. Live Crypto Rider says, have you already targeted someone with all these guns? I don't think so, Live Crypto Rider. This is just like an art display. Some can mount a bayonet. Yeah, they can. I don't think Jerome Powell will resign or be fired. I'll think he'll work until his term is over. I think the money is drying up that we have in the system. The money's probably drying up now, unfortunately. Well, guys, if you don't have any more questions, I'm going to hop off for a little bit, but I'm already in my positions. I'm already in my shorts. I just shared with you earlier. I'll keep the Discord posted along the way. I'll try to come to YouTube chat as well if I close those positions to give you an update. All right, anybody on Discord have any questions or stuff before I hop off the Discord as well? All right, have a good night. Happy trading.